It's Wednesday, January 8th, 2020. So another fascinating day today. We have some good news. Things have de-escalated in regards to Iran and the Middle East. The markets bounced back today on that good news. And I'm happy that this president basically put out an olive branch to Iran wanting peace. He did not retaliate with the 12-plus missile strikes last night from Iran, and it seems like cooler heads are prevailing today. But he basically put out an olive branch and told Iran that, you know, the violence needs to stop. We need to talk. There are things that you could offer the world. There are great things that you could be doing for the world, great things we could be doing together. You're a super wealthy country that has so much to offer. So, you know, the violence needs to stop. So I'm happy that this president did not retaliate. I'm happy that this president offered the olive branch today. And I'm really happy to see that things have de-escalated. But we got a little bit of bad news in the last hour. This was on Zero Hedge. Iran-backed militia fires 3 rockets. These rockets were aimed at or targeted at our U.S. embassy in Baghdad in the green zone. So, you know, are things escalating again? As of right now, I looked at the futures market. They are up 84 points, and things right now seem calm, even though there have been 3 rockets fired at the U.S. embassy in the green zone in Baghdad. So we'll see how that plays out. But going back to what happened earlier today, Dow Jones closes up 161 points. Gold, silver, and oil all had a major pullback. Gold last night topped out at $1,620. I saw silver at $18.51. And everything pulled back today as things have cooled down. But, you know, don't get complacent. What we saw happen yesterday was just another example of how quickly things can happen, how black swan can come out of nowhere. And again, we've just had 3 more rockets fired at our embassy in Baghdad. So are we out of the woods yet? Probably not. Hopefully we are. Hopefully we just get out of there, get out of these countries and just let things de-escalate. But the bigger threat to America, which is a much bigger threat than Iran, the biggest threat to America is the massive debt we have here. These debt bubbles that we have in America are much more threatening and much more dangerous than a country like Iran. And as I read a few articles today, one comes to mind. This was in the Wall Street Journal. Macy's plans store closures. They're going to be closing 30 stores. Sales fell in November and December 0.6%. Analysts predict that fourth quarter sales will be down 2.5%. And the reason I bring this up is because we are so busy spending trillions of dollars around the world, protecting other countries, getting our nose in everybody's business, being the world's police or the world's hitmen, yet our country is falling apart socially, politically, physically, spiritually. Everything here is falling apart, from the infrastructure to the education, to the churches, to our political parties. Everything in America is falling apart. We need to spend more time here dealing with America than the Middle East. Bed Bath & Beyond said Wednesday it swung to a $38.6 million loss in its fourth quarter, compared with a profit of $24.4 million a year earlier. Sales for the year have fallen 9%. Wolfstreet.com today, truckers take wait and see approach. This is an industry that has been quite literally brutalized. For the past 12 months, orders for Class 8 trucks are down 64% from orders in 2018 and the lowest annual total since 2010. On a year-over-year basis, orders for Class 8 trucks in 2019 had collapsed by as much as 80%. In the article, it says dealers say that the lots are dead. Nobody is looking at these trucks. So again, we know what is happening in the retail sector. We know that the economy is slowing down, and we know at some point that the U.S. consumer is not going to be able to carry this economy on their back much longer, as they're going to get tapped out, living paycheck to paycheck, running up credit card debt beyond belief. So it is a ticking time bomb before this whole thing seizes up. 9 states headed for recession in 6 months. This is on Zero Hedge also. If we are going to make this country great, we better start manufacturing something. We need to be making things. We have states all across this country going broke. And here's a few of them as this recession continues to persist. West Virginia has massive economic trouble as they head for an economic downturn. The coal industry is in tatters. Manufacturing is busting, and the opioid crisis is ravaging local communities across the state. It's terrible. Delaware, Vermont, Oklahoma, Montana, Iowa, Kentucky, and Connecticut have indexes that are indicating economic contraction that could occur within 6 months. And here's a state, for whatever reason they left out, the state of Illinois. This state has massive debt. It has a massive pension crisis, and it was not on this list, but we can add that one to the list. So again, it just continues to be a very negative outlook. Although we had some good news today with the situation in the Middle East, but the real threats are right here. You know, and even talking about this whole Middle East mess, just think, and again, we're not out of the woods. We don't know what could happen later tonight, tomorrow, next week. We still don't know if there will be retaliation here on U.S. soil. We don't know. Right now, though, it seems that cooler heads are prevailing. But just think, if things heated up and this really got nasty, turned into a war, we have political uncertainty right here in America. Look at some of the criminals in Washington, D.C. Look at the criminals running this country that want to take you to war. And I'm not saying anybody specifically, but Washington, D.C. is flooded with some real bad people. We have a system that is completely divided now in Washington, okay? There is a divide in Washington. Probably not a good time to start a war. We have a country that is severely divided. Probably not a good time to start a war. We have a country over $23 trillion in debt. Who's going to pay for this, okay? We borrowed money from China for the last one, okay? I think from the data I've read, America spent $2 trillion of its own money and spent borrowed multiple trillions of dollars from China in order to go to the last war in the Middle East that we haven't even paid off yet. You know, we talk about the 48 million plus people who haven't even paid off last Christmas year's shopping. How about this country? We haven't even paid off the last war in the Middle East, and yet we're going to go back and start another one. So politically, we're divided. Socially, we're divided. The country is bankrupt financially. And so the list goes on. Probably not a good time to be going into a war. And there's a few other things I want to point out too. We have a manufacturing recession taking place right now. We look at the trucking recession taking place with these truck makers, okay, of these Class 8 heavy-duty trucks. They're in recession. The automakers are in recession. Many of the U.S. farmers in recession. Retail is in recession. The American railroads are in recession. Shipping is in a recession. And we want to go and start a war in the Middle East. It's a bad idea. We have so many problems here. Again, education, infrastructure. It's incredible what's going on here. The trillions of dollars that we've been spending in the Middle East needed to be spent here. We are turning into a third world country. I don't think anybody watching this video can deny that. I made another list here of the wars that we're in right now. We are in wars right now. We're in trade wars, military wars, political wars, border wars, drug wars, social wars, and we are heading into a severe spiritual war here in America. You know, America better get its own backyard in order, get its own house in order before we start going anywhere around the world. So I'm going to wrap it up right here today. So as things seem to be calm right now, don't forget, never become complacent. Use situational awareness. Be aware of your environment. Keep your head on a swivel. You never know if something erupts out of nowhere. So again, we're not out of the woods yet. There have been a lot of threats made on Americans here, so we have to be very, very cautious and just use extreme caution when you're out. Doesn't mean that you have to stop living, but just be cautious of your surroundings. And you know, we'll follow through and see if anything heats up tonight, but let's all continue to pray for this country. Let's pray for this president that he makes the right decision. Let's get these troops out of there. Look, in my opinion, the troops should be here in the United States of America, protecting our country. Our backyard is wide open. We want to start wars over in the Middle East, yet our backyard is wide open. People have been coming over for years. We had the caravans over the summer, and tonight more people will just walk over into this country. While there have been threats of retaliation on the lives of Americans on U.S. soil, and there have been U.S. threats towards Iran, and our backyard sits wide open. That just blows my mind that if you're going to make threats of war and you're going to bomb generals in these countries, and yet we have no security protecting us right here in our backyard. And that just seems like an accident waiting to happen. It's just me. But again, I don't know any country that just leaves its back doors wide open while it threatens other countries, and when it's threatened by a country with retaliation, that there's nobody watching the door. It's frightening. It's frightening, and it puts every one of us at risk. So make sure you use a little bit more caution and awareness when you're out. Doesn't mean to stop living life. Enjoy life, live it, just be aware of your surroundings. I'm going to leave it right there today. We'll see what happens tonight, and we'll see what we wake up to tomorrow. God bless every one of you. Please share this video. Please like this video, subscribe, make sure you hit the bell notification down below, and blast it all over your social media. It's getting harder and harder for people to find channels like this, so make sure you share them. People are waking up, and thank you so much for all the comments. They are eye-opening. They are mind-opening. They really, really make you think, and I try to read as many as I can. And I'll tell you, it gives me hope that we have some great people in this country, and that we're going to do everything we can to make sure that this great country never fails. God bless.